How you doing? Nice to see you. You can sit anywhere. Mo, over to you.
Thank you, Liz. And if it's obviously been said, but I think it needs to be said again, a huge, huge thank you to all of you for taking the time to come here today. You know, as alluded to before, there's a million things that you could be doing, especially with the weather, you know, having improved over the day. So a huge, huge thank you to all of you for making the time to come here and support the launch and kind of celebration party of Baltic Ventures. So huge, huge thank you. Really excited to be here. I don't know about the four of you. I thrive on a deadline. So we've got about 20 minutes before the Oscar music starts playing us off the stage. And the theme of this first panel is all about kind of leveling the playing field for Northern entrepreneurs, which is is a strong kind of ethos and value behind why Baltic Ventures has kind of come to be anyway. And each of the four of you will have your own perspective, and you'll bring your own kind of unique insights to the table in terms of what that statement means to you, how you sort of experienced that, or how you're sort of contributing to that. So no pressure, but we've got the next 20 minutes to kind of set the world to rights and solve this kind of big issue. So we'll start with you, Carl, if that's okay. Quite a few people in the room will be sort of familiar with you and your history as a founder, now angel investor, advisor, and a million other hats that you wear. But why don't you tell us a little bit about that journey, how you came to sort of be sat here today, and yeah, just give us a story.
Will do. Thanks, Mo. Good afternoon. This is awesome. It's been a long time coming. It's been a long, long time coming. But now we're here. So I think one of the reasons that we're here is in 2014, David Woods and I, we founded a company called LivingLens. And it was great tech, or actually it was a great idea, and then it was very average tech. And we realized we needed a lot of money to build something fantastic. And we knew nothing about equity finance, and so we went to London, and because that's where you go, isn't it? That's where you've got to go. And we stumbled through the door in the back of the wardrobe. We found Narnia. We found a bunch of angels and networks, and we applied ourselves to that. And we stumbled and hustled our way onto a tech accelerator called Collider. And without that, there would be no LivingLens. It was an enabler. It was an accelerator. It was a catalyst in lots of different ways for us to be able to scale, be supported, meet coaches, meet big business, meet investors. And we were very fortunate that we managed to grow that business, and we exited 3 weeks before COVID. Everybody needs a bit of luck, you know. So we got ours. But we always said, wouldn't it be awesome if we could build something like that here? Because it wasn't easy. It was very, very hard raising money and finding an environment that could help us build LivingLens. And so we set out on a journey to try and make that happen in this city with a bunch of other people, like-minded people, and we just got the timing right. You know, I talked about luck earlier. That was lucky, really lucky that we got the right people around the table in the right moment who had the headspace to collaborate, to build something special here. Because I think what we're about to set out on can be an enabler to so many organizations, to so many founders, not just now, but in 10 years' time, never mind 5 years' time. We can create wonderful things here in Liverpool, around the country, businesses nationally and internationally, and we can build a world-class accelerator here. We've got the right parts of the ecosystem coming together. Lots of you in this room know that. So we're at the start of something that can really change lots of people's lives and make some fantastic businesses and entrepreneurs both now and in the future successful by making less mistakes than we made and lots of others make. And yeah, I'm excited. It's taken us 3 years to get here, but I'm excited.
That's amazing. Thank you. And so Gemma, tough act to follow there with Carl's opening, but
I'm going to politely say hello, everyone.
Yeah. Do you want to give sort of your own kind of 30-second introduction? But also, I wanted to come to you and ask some of what Carl just talked about there. That finding the door in the back of the closet, that Narnia to a world. You know, how much does that resonate with you as a founder that's kind of started and scaled a business in the north of England?
Yeah, so I'm Gemma, and as was mentioned before, I'm CEO and co-founder of Culture Shift. We were founded in January 2018 and initially bootstrapped, and then we started on that fundraising journey, and I've got a chip on my shoulder just about here, because I get pissed off that we have to get on that train, that stinky old train to London and raise money, and I was determined not to do it. I thought, no, we've got funders in the Northwest, and I'm going to try and convince one of them to back me. and I did. So March 2020, a week before COVID, Baltic Ventures backed Culture Shift. And I think, you know, a lot of what resonated with what you said about that kind of discovering that like world of Narnia, it feels like that, and like we're on a fundraising round at the moment, and I said to someone the other day, like, what is the best thing you? This was an investor. What is the best thing you have ever received as a cold kind of inbound approach? And he went, oh, we don't really look at inbound approaches. It's like introductions through our network. And I was like, well, how do you break into that? How do you bloody well break into that? If it's who you know and not what you know, that is hard for founders and talented, you know, tech potential that is in this region, if that's the only way that you can raise money. And we all need money to make those fantastic ideas a reality. And it really annoys me that is still the reality of how the funding ecosystem works.
And it's a lock network, and it's a learned skill, isn't it? Learning how to raise money is a learned skill.
It definitely is, and you can make so many mistakes, and every mistake that you make, you know, you don't have a lot of time when you don't have a lot of money, and you need the money to kind of accelerate. So a couple of things happened to us that I think made a difference, which was we were one of Tech Nation's rising stars, and that really like raised our profile. And we went on the PwC scale program, which now doesn't exist regionally. And that was the opportunity for us to pitch in front of investors that wouldn't have looked at my inbound email or approach. So that, I think, made a big difference for us. But those, you know, like RIP Tech Nation, you know, and then I know things are you know, there's going to be new things that come along afterwards. But those opportunities are now being lost. And I don't know what that means for the kind of the people coming through.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, and everything that you and Carl just said as well really resonates, because the funding is a really crucial part of it, and a lot of the getting on the trains to London is about the funding. But there's all the other things as well that you sort of need in the early days. It's speaking to later stage founders, it's having mentors and coaches and just people with expertise who've been there and done that you can lean on, and you don't really have to go that far back to find yourself in a position where you had to go to London for that, and that's obviously getting better, and you know, a lot of what we are about, and obviously we're going to hear from Claire soon, the CEO of Baltic Ventures, all about like kind of the detail of that. But I think that's a huge aspect of it as well. So it's, you know, it's the funding, but it's everything else that you need as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I think as well though, it's fine going to London. You know, it's part of building the business, but it's the pathways, it's knowing where and how, and that I think. It's not just about Baltic Ventures being about seed now. It's a pathway, and we're deal flow for future investments. We need to bring that here. You know, we need to signpost that to all founders so you can see where can that journey, where have you got to go, rather than just following your nose. You know, we need to bring that capital to the city, and we need to open up those doors.
Thank you both. So, Saif, if I can come to you as well for a quick intro, and just carrying on with the same theme in terms of like what that statement means to you, and what's your lived experience as a founder based in the north, and how that's kind of manifested.
Thanks, Mo. Yeah, hi everyone. And tough act to follow, absolutely. I'm really thrilled to be here. What's my background? I'm the CTO and co-founder of Arctic Shores. We help organizations hire for potential. I'm the CTO, so I'm a complete geek, but in the end I've been involved in the fundraising and growing the company and founding a company. In terms of what the statement means to me, it means London by default. And if I think about how Arctic Shores was founded about 10 years ago. I just wouldn't dream of going out into Manchester and trying to raise money, or anywhere in the northwest, unfortunately. So there's this mindset, or at least there was then. There's this mindset of a couple of things. One, the investment hub was in the centre of London. And in terms of where the investors would go, well, they might venture out to sort of Cambridge or Oxford or Reading, and woe betide if you go further, or else you'll turn into some sort of creature. And then there's nothing in between. There's no man's land in between, and then we end up in the northwest. And as you say, Mo, quite rightly, it's not just about the funding as well. And Steve Rotherham said this, it's about a mindset. There used to be a mindset whereby if I want to find the right people to make my startup grow and to make great things and to innovate and to be comfortable with uncertainty and, let's just give it a go, it felt like you needed to go to London for that. I'm really proud that that's completely changed over the last 10 years, but we still need that spark. And it's great being here to see that spark being lit here, and to have the experts and the knowledge and the experience to help people understand. Okay, it's okay not to have all the answers. We'll help you with that. It's okay to have uncertainty. We'll help you with that. You won't have all the answers. It's fine. We'll help you with that. And by the way, we'll help you get the money as well, because you can't do without that. So that's what that means to me. I think it's great.
I mean, one thing I wanted to ask you both specifically, but Carl as well, is just like, I guess, in the days when you were scaling your businesses, particularly in those, at those crucial inflection points of sort of going from, and we don't have to just speak in investment terms, but roughly like pre-seed to seed, seed to Series A, and so on. I've spoken to lots of founders over the years, and oftentimes where they get stuck is the ability or lack kind of thereof of finding enough people in that ecosystem who've already been there and done it at that particular stage. Because each of those stages, particularly with digital tech and the way that a lot of companies scale, is that there's quite a few unique challenges that really only someone who's kind of been there and done that can really share the horror stories and the battle scars and kind of everything else. And I think that's probably something that's improving as well. But again, you don't have to go back that long where London was the only port of call for that. So I was curious kind of to know, when you were scaling from 20 to 40 people, 40 to 50 or whatever, and going through the various fundraisers and going through the various different operational challenges and kind of all the whole minefield that it is kind of scaling a company, did you have those people to lean on regionally? And if not, did you then have to sort of venture out further afield? And do you feel that changing now?
It's absolutely changing. We didn't necessarily have those people regionally. What we did have was this sort of growing ecosystem of peers who are willing to help each other. Now that's grown into, those peers that I experienced back 10 years ago have grown into the experts, and that's what's changed. Now the experts exist because they've lived and breathed it, like yourself and and yourself obviously as well. And that's what's changed. But we did have advice. And the advice came from ultimately choosing the right investors. And I'm not going to say who's right and who's wrong, but ultimately, in finding an investor, yes, it's making sure you have the money. And without the money, it's very hard to grow. But also, are those investors with you on that journey? Do they understand your business? And critically, do they believe in you and believe in your business as well? And they've been fantastic advice for us as well.
Yeah, thank you, Saif. So yeah, Emma, I'd love to come to you. Last but not least, obviously, give us an intro about who you are, and again, just kind of in keeping with the theme, just in terms of what sort of unique perspective do you bring to that theme in terms of leveling up the playing field for Northern entrepreneurs? What does that kind of statement mean to you?
Yeah, thanks, Mo. And hi, everyone. My name's Emma O'Banye, and I am the MD, soon to be CEO of OneTech. And at OneTech, what we do is we connect underserved founders to opportunities in tech startups. And so in terms of my background, also previously a tech founder, but while ago now. So I got into tech. I was working in tech, so sort of in a sort of more geeky capacity, and then got into tech startups by way of like a startup weekend. So I'm from London, obviously, by the accent. But I come from Hackney, and I come from sort of like, a lower social economic background. And it was very difficult to kind of see someone like myself in tech back then, and even still now, it's a massive problem. But we kind of got into it. We managed to get great support, as has been echoed by the panel, and got into tech startups. Went into an accelerator called Wyra, ended up raising some seed money, and we had a small exit back in 2016. So 5 years ago, met up with the CEO of Capital Enterprises, John Spindler, and we started to look at how can we actually start to make opportunities in tech startups more equitable. So how can we make them more diverse? How can we bring in more women, more people of colour, and people who are on the sort of fringes of, places like Shoreditch, or where all the, essentially all the tech startups are in London, and actually have local people see themselves and see these opportunities for themselves. So we're really privileged to kind of be able to bring some of our learning in what we've done over the past 5 years in London to try and do that, and bring that learning here into Liverpool. So we'll be partnering with Baltic Ventures to actually to capacity build and actually provide support for local people from lower socioeconomic backgrounds, women, people of colour, from the local region, and actually help build out that pipeline so that over the next few years we're not just seeing sort of more elite people gain access to these kind of opportunities, but people, local people, and see themselves in it.
Well, it absolutely has to be a long game, isn't it? It's not 100%. An overnight fix, and I think oftentimes people want to see results in a year, 2 years, 3 years, but oftentimes those seeds need to be planted now, don't they? Obviously, we've got a fireside chat coming up with Claire Lewis, the CEO of Baltic Ventures, so I don't want to overstep on that too much in terms of both time, but also in terms of talking about kind of Baltic Ventures, because she's going to get into kind of the detail of why we were set up, what we want to do. I guess a question for all four of you. We'll start again with you, Carl, and kind of go that way. Is, when going back to what Steve was saying, like there's no reason that Liverpool City region can't be the kind of the Silicon Valley, the next Silicon Valley of the UK. The resources are here, the infrastructure here, and it's that kind of collective brain power. The turnout today is not just a testament to the team at Baltic Ventures in terms of their how good they are at social media or whatever. It's a testament to the appetite, I think.
Very good, though.
Yeah. It's clearly a testament to the appetite in the ecosystem, and to see that ecosystem thrive. Because if it thrives, it helps everyone, doesn't it? So I guess on a final note, like what would you like to see? Clearly, establishing something like Baltic Ventures is absolutely the step in the right direction. It's having an accelerator program, that's anchored here but open to kind of anyone. Bringing more eyes to the city region and to the wider north, bringing more investment, all kind of the good stuff. What else, I guess? What more would you like to see in the next 5 years, or even 10 years, if you want to think further?
So for LivingLens, Liverpool was competitive advantage. This city is a fantastic place. Talent, hard work, humour, graft, hustle. We built our business here, and then we took it to London, to Toronto, to New York. We scaled from here. And we made loads of mistakes doing that. And we wasted a fair amount of money doing that as well. Sorry, John. So there are ways to do that with less mistakes. There are ways to do that with pathways that have been tread before that can be facilitated. It's about pipeline and deal flow. So we need to seed founders for the future from lots of different backgrounds to make them believe that I can do that. I can do that because I can see the way forward. I can see role models. I can see education and pathways to bring me into it. We need to broaden the funnel of how many businesses, how many entrepreneurs, how many founders there are. And then we need to broaden the funnel of capital. Because then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You've got mentors, you've got coaches, because you can see people a few years ahead of you who've lived it, who've made those mistakes. You can see capital coming into the city because there's real deal flow here. They will get on that train. It really makes a difference because, if they can make money 5 years down the road, come here. Because this is a place to do it. That's what I want to see. I want to see paths that are tread. I want to see the ecosystem joined up. I want to see people want to be founders and building teams in Liverpool and globally dominate. And that's our ambition. That's our vision. That's our chance. But we can't wait for other people to do it. We've got to do it. You've got to front up. So you are all potential coaches. You're all potential mentors. You could be potential investors. Be part of this. Because in the next 10 years, we can make something unbelievable, and we can. I really do believe we can be that Silicon Valley. But the Scouse version.
The Scouse version. Yeah. You're making it impossible for the other three to follow you, by the way.
Sorry.
I think I would just
amazing.
echo that as well. And I think it's advice at every stage, because I think I rather naively thought the hardest bit would be raising the first round. But every round is hard. Every round is a challenge, and there's always like the little hurdles or the goalposts like moving slightly just ahead of you, and it's advice at every step of the way, because just raising that first round doesn't mean you're off to the races. It's it's connectivity. So it's founders like you and me and you. Like making sure that the people coming slightly behind us have got the we're sharing our knowledge of that like last bit that we've been on, and then up that way, like us getting advice from people who have just been through it. So like you say, we don't have to fall into the potholes and make the mistakes, because I don't know what it's like for you, but I bet I struggle to remember what it was like raising that first round, because I'm all about raising this current round. So yeah, connecting people who are going through, who are not that far ahead, that can kind of give you that advice, I think would be really good. Yeah.
I'm really good at sharing my mistakes. I've got loads of them, so I'll share some knowledge as well. I'd echo everything that's been said so far. I suppose on a slightly different tack, yes, the capital is important, but actually hiring talent and great talent who wants to come with you on the journey is really important as well. I remember someone telling me, how do you choose what you want to do? Do you want to work in insurance? Yeah, I want to wake up late and wear a bright tie. Do I work in banking? Oh yeah, I want to wake up early and wear a dark tie. And some people, and have a nightlife. And people choose where they work and what they do for the strangest of reasons. But one big reason why people decide to work in a place is the ecosystem and the excitement around it. And actually, you're building excitement here in Liverpool around people wanting to come to Liverpool. Don't stay in London or stay in Manchester or stay in Edinburgh. Come to Liverpool. And that's where you need to attract the talent here. And if we're able to do that, if we can do that over the next 5 to 10 years, we'll go a long way to being able to fix what we need to fix.
Yeah.
Emma, final words. No pressure.
No pressure at all. But yeah, just to echo everything that's been said here and to double down on what Carl's just said, which is that what you want to see is you want to see local people kind of, build out their startups and reinvest, because ultimately it's going to be founders from here that are going to be the ones that reinvest in here. So you want to see, definitely an ecosystem approach whereby you've got more money kind of coming in, but ultimately people kind of, rising through the ranks, getting to the point whereby they're like, okay, they're the future, they're the people they're the beacons, they're the people that, and they, sort of help to bring up other people from the region as well. And the great thing about what Baltic Ventures are doing is that they're building DE&I into the fabric of what they're doing, whereas other regions and other areas have kind of, it's been an afterthought. So hopefully over the next 5 years, you're going to see people from here who've actually gone on, raised money, hopefully exited, and paying it forward to the next future founders.
Thank you so much to the four of you. You know me, I'll happily sit here for the next hour, 2 hours, continuing this chat. Unfortunately, we are out of time. We have to move on. But a huge thank you. Can we please get a round of applause for these four? Thank you so much. Yeah. So I'm just handing back to
I am going to throw you all off. Come on, we need the seats. We're over time. Go. You were brilliant, but you need to hop it. Come on. Thank you. Off you go. Oh, my life. That could have gone.